All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning and welcome back. So, guys, how many of you joined through laptop, guys? Or most of you joined from mobile? Can you please, join through desktop? Sorry, laptop or a computer if possible now, if possible. Okay. The reason is I want to start this computer fundamentals. Okay. Able to see my screen? Everyone able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
How many of you joined through mobile and how many through laptop, guys?
I had joined through laptop, sir.
Okay.
Also joined through laptop, sir.
Okay, wonderful. All right. So first, first we'll start with computer fundamentals as we discussed, right? Or, okay, let me quickly show you like what all concepts I am going to cover and let me know if you need this or you already know this. Do you want me to explain this or you already know this? What is public IP? What is private IP? What is meant by host name? All right then. All right then. So let me explain one by one. Okay. So first of all, what is an operating system? First of all. So if someone asks you what is an operating system, how do you define it?
It works an interface between system and user and manages all the programs in our system.
Right. It works as an interface between the computer and the human being or the user. Right. We can say user. Right. It works an interface between the computer and the user. Right. And manages all the resources. Right. So that is an operating system. And how to check your system configuration? Next thing. Right. And what are the different types of operating system, by the way? So did I open the class notes for your batch? No, I don't think so. Let me start a class notes document. Yeah, what are we discussing, guys? So what are the different types of operating systems? What are the different operating systems that we have? Yes? Yes, you know this.
Windows.
Linux, Windows,
Windows.
IBM.
OS, Apple iOS, Google Android.
Right. Those are mobile operating systems, right? So these are Windows and Linux are popular. And there is one more for Apple laptops. What is that? For Apple products, they use a separate operating system or separate OS.
It's Mac.
Right. Mac or Macintosh, right? So actually full form is Macintosh, but it is called as Mac. In short, called as Mac, isn't it? Now,
Yes.
so these are computer operating systems. And now how about mobile operating systems? You have, yes, Android, okay, iOS, anything else? Okay, these are the popular mobile operating system. That is enough, right? And now how to check the next concept is that I want to cover is how to check your system configuration. This is very important. These concepts are very important for performance testing, particularly. Okay, not required for manual test engineers or automation engineers. However, these concepts are important for performance engineers. Okay, now how to check your system configuration? Yes. So those who joined from your laptop. So first of all, what is meant by system configuration? What is meant by system configuration? So, what all things we check when someone asks, like, what is the system configuration? Or suppose you want to buy a laptop. You'll ask someone like, which configuration we want to buy, right? Or which model we want to buy at least, isn't it? So How to check that system? What are the important parameters for system configuration?
RAM.
First we check the OS.
First we check the OS, right? So first we will discuss, hardware configuration. Okay, perfect. Let me do one thing. So I'll separate them as, hardware configuration. Hardware configuration. Okay. Yeah. So what all comes under hardware configuration? Yes, guys.
RAM.
RAM. Okay. Next. CPU. Right. Disk. Isn't it? NIC card. Right. Isn't it? So first comes CPU. Right. Let me first write this CPU first. Now, how to check your system configuration was? How to check the hardware configuration, or how to check what is your CPU on your system, what is RAM on your system, how much disk capacity is available, and what is the NIC card, right? What is this NIC card, by the way? NIC card stands for Network Interface Card, guys. Network Interface Card, right? That is required to connect to the internet, isn't it? NIC card, network interface card, is required to connect to the internet, isn't it? And now CPU, RAM, disk, and these are all hardware configuration. Now how to check your system CPU? How to check this your system CPU? And what does RAM stands for? Most of you know this.
Random access memory.
Random access memory, right? Yeah. Next, how to check your system configuration? Yes, how to check your CPU, right? One easy way to check your system configuration is go to Task Manager. Simply go to Task Manager, right? And go to this performance. Click on this performance. You see here, you see a graph kind of symbol. Click on performance. There it shows you what is your CPU and memory and all this, isn't it? Disk capacity and all this. See what is what is the CPU model on my machine? It is 13th generation i7 processor, right? It is 13th generation i7 processor, isn't it? Right? And you can see the base speed over here and how much it is free and how much it is occupied, isn't it? You see here the utilization means nothing but it is already it is in use by 10 to 20%, isn't it? CPU is already in use by 15 to 20%. And what is this uptime, by the way? Right? Uptime means at what time, so from how much time it was up and running, isn't it? We'll discuss what is this L1 cache, L2 cache, and L3 cache later on. So not required at this moment. Screen on time, right? All right. So what is this? See, the main things that you should know is this one. i7 processor, 13th generation i7 Intel processor. Okay. So what is the CPU on my machine? 13th generation Intel i7 processor. Okay. i7 processor. Next, what are the other details that you need to know? Well, how much RAM is there on your machine? Can those who are already aware of this, can you please check your configuration and post it in the Zoom chat? I want CPU and memory at least. CPU, memory, and disk. Right? Even though you know these details, please post it, guys. Please check and post it. Right? So how now let us go to the RAM part. Okay. So what does this RAM does, guys, by the way? So what does this CPU does on your system? What is CPU stand? What does CPU stands for?
Central processing unit.
Central processing unit. What does it do? What is its job?
It allocates memory and process all the programs.
It allocates memory and process the programs. Right. or it is it is the component that drives your computer, isn't it? That that manages or that drives your computer, right? And then RAM, how about RAM? What does it do?
It stores current running programs.
Right. All the current running programs will be loaded into the RAM, isn't it? See, for example, right now I am using Zoom meeting and I am using Chrome browser and I am using Task Manager. Now, if you go to Task Manager and if you go to processes, if you go to process, right? So if you go to process, but there are a lot of here, right? See, it is showing Google Chrome, Edge, and then it is showing a lot of things. You see here Zoom Workplace, right? So what does that mean, guys? See, here you can see only Zoom meeting on the task manager. On the taskbar, you can see Zoom meeting, Chrome browser, and task manager. But here it is showing a lot of process running, isn't it? Under processes, it is showing a lot of process running. So what does it mean? It is showing all the background process as well, isn't it? There are some background processes as well related to the this. You see here Lenovo Vantage service, etc., etc. So it is showing all the foreground and background process, isn't it? And it is also showing how much CPU and how much memory each program is taking, isn't it? See, observe here, Chrome is consuming around 1600 MB RAM, right? Chrome is consuming around 1600 MB RAM now at this moment, isn't it? So remember, in Task Manager, you have processes, performance tab, etc. Right? And now, if you go to memory part, if you click on memory, see, observe here, I'm having 16 GB RAM on my machine, right? I'm having 16 GB RAM on my machine. Hold on, let me use Spotlight. Yeah, I'm having 16 GB RAM on my machine, and out of which around 9.4 GB is already in use, isn't it? In used memory is 9 GB approx, and available memory is 6 GB approx, isn't it? Right? And this, what is this one? 3200 megahertz. What is this speed? Right? So what is that speed, guys? What does that tell you? Right. So CPU processes the request and RAM temporarily stores the data. So which one permanently stores the data, guys? So there is a message or, Guna posted saying that RAM temporarily stores the data. Which one permanently stores the data? What is the component that stores the data permanently?
ROM, sir.
Huh?
ROM.
Right. ROM or, that is also called as
Read-only memory.
right. So RAM stands for random access memory. Right. This ROM stands for read-only memory, isn't it? And now if you go to Task Manager and see, there is something called disk below that, right? See, under CPU and memory, there is something called disk. And now see here, this is so what is this disk? Again, there are two different types of permanent storages, right? So what are those, guys? Those are two different types of permanent storages. There are two different types of disks in any computer. So what are those? HDD versus, this case. Guys, most of you know these concepts already. So all running programs should be or will be loaded into RAM and executed from there. Right? There are two types of storage devices, or there are two types of drives. Okay. As of now, these are the two popular types of drives are there. Okay, storage devices are there. Two different types. What are those? HDD and Yes, guys, you know this. Or you don't know. Oh my God.
I don't know, sir, for me.
Okay. The other one is SSD. Right?
Yes.
HDD versus SSD. There are two types of storage devices, or there are two types of permanent storage, or two types of ROM. Right? HDD stands for hard disk drive. And guys, I will be sharing from today onwards, I will be uploading the session as a private video. So those who did not share your Gmail ID to me before, or those who joined today only, started joining today only. So please share your Gmail ID. Please ping me your Gmail ID separate to me on WhatsApp. Please don't share it in the WhatsApp group. Okay. Please don't share it in the batch WhatsApp group. Right. For this batch, we are having a WhatsApp group. This is the WhatsApp group for this batch. Right. July 2024 batch. Isn't it? Please don't share it over there. Please share it to me separately. Now SSD stands for solid state drive. Right. And SSD looks like a RAM. You know this or no? This. You heard this, right? Yes, please respond. If you are not responding, you have to turn on your camera from tomorrow. Okay. You should be prepared to turn on your camera from tomorrow. If you are not responding, I don't know whether you are in front of your system or not, or whether you are, wake up or sleeping. See, some people, we observed, a lot of funny things. When I asked them to turn on the camera, I see like some people were lying on the bed and joining the session. Right? And see some people lying on the floor and joining the session. Some people joined from washrooms. Okay. So please, as it is early morning batch, please be attentive. So please fresh up and join the session, guys. And we want sessions to be interactive. Okay. Yeah, I'll explain it. Now, what is the difference between this, first of all, have you seen this, guys? Did you see RAM anytime? You might have seen that RAM, right? I'll search for RAM in computer. Otherwise, if I type RAM, it will show RAM, right? If I search for RAM, right? Obviously, it doesn't know whether I'm searching for RAM or RAM, isn't it? So I'll search for RAM in computer. So, and this is how it looks like. You know that already. You saw that already, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? And now, how does so now let us see HDD versus SSD. Right? See, everyone saw this. Everyone knows this, right? Yeah. So this is how RAM looks like. Sorry, this is how RAM looks like, isn't it? All the running programs will be loaded into this RAM, and the higher the capacity and the higher the speed, the faster the processing will be, obviously, isn't it? And now let us see HDD hard disk versus SSD, right? And everyone know this, HDD at least hard disk drive. This is how it looks like, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right? This is how your hard disk looks like. There will be a circular, drives, right? Rotating, which will be rotating, and there will be a read-write head. Let me enlarge the image, right? So there will be a circular, circular discs like this, number of circular discs arranged around the spindle, and there will be a RW head, means read-write head, which is used to read or, when you suppose you create a Word document and save it, then the document will be saved on the hard disk in sectors, in some sector, isn't it? And now this, you know very well how does a hard disk drive looks like, and it is 3.5 inch. Usually the size of that will be 3.5 inch. Whereas now if you see an SSD, right, the size of the SSD will be approximately 2.5 inch, and it will be looking like a RAM only, isn't it? Does it look like a RAM only?
Yes.
It looks like a RAM, isn't it? Right? And now what is the difference between both of these? You see at the bottom, it is already explained here. Shock resistance up to 55G, shock resistance up to 350G under non-operating condition. Under operating condition, shock resistance up to 55G. Means what does that mean? Suppose if you accidentally dropped your laptop while it is on, and running. So the shock resistance is less for a hard drive, whereas the shock resistance is more for a SSD if you had accidentally dropped it. Understood, guys? So, and it is faster. Obviously, this SSD will be faster than hard disk drive because suppose you want to search for a document, you want to open a document, right? How does it open? So once you click on the document, it has to identify where exactly the document is stored. And the read write head should, the disk should rotate, and the read write head also should move to the corresponding location, the corresponding sector. Okay. So obviously the hard disk drive will be slower than SSD. Clear, guys? And this is more error prone, or this is more, more riskier than SSD. Why is it riskier? Suppose if you drop your laptop by mistake, when it is operating, what happens is this read write head may may land on the disk, and then it may crash your hard drive, or it may damage some sectors. Sector means nothing but, small area in a hard drive that is called as a sector. Right. So go through these, guys. These are computer fundamentals. Please go through this. There are a lot of videos. Please go through this. Okay. However, so let me show you the hard disk on my machine. So the permanent storage on my machine is an SSD, and it is 512G. You see here, you see the storage capacity of the SSD on my device, on my laptop, is 512 GB, as you can see here, right? The storage capacity type is SSD, as you see at the bottom. Okay. Any queries? I will take a pause here. Any queries? You see at the bottom, hold on. Yeah. You see at the bottom of this, or else let me do one thing. So let me resize it. Yeah. Now I think you can see that clearly. Let me use Spotlight again. Right. You see the type is SSD and capacity is 477 GB. See, total capacity is of course 512 GB. Right. So, but some storage will be used for BIOS and all these operating system and all these, right? So the it is showing the remaining capacity, isn't it? Average response time is 0 to milliseconds. This is millisecond. Okay, MS is for milliseconds. Write speed and read speed. Right, write speed is varying from 251 kilobytes per second to some 320 something. Right, those numbers are varying. You can ignore that. Right. But this is important. What is the storage capacity of your system? And what type of drive is that? Is it a hard drive or SSD? On some systems, you will be having both HDD and SSD. On some systems, you will be having both HDD and SSD. Clear, guys? Both can coexist. Okay. I'll take a pause here. Any queries? Which one is costlier?
SSD, sir.
Obviously, SSD will be costlier because it is coming with some advantages, and this is the latest technology. Okay. Right. Obviously, this is costlier, right, than HDD. A hard disk drive will be bulky and it will increase your laptop weight, isn't it? But without as HDD, your the laptop weight decreases by at least 250 grams, 200 to 250 grams, isn't it? So it is lighter in weight. SSDs are lighter in weight, much faster, right, and shock resistant as well. Clear, guys? Okay. So these are enough, guys. You need to know, suppose if someone asks you what is your system configuration, this is what you need to know. You need to know what is your CPU configuration and RAM capacity or RAM configuration, and then disk configuration, disk details, your hard disk details. Clear, guys? Any
Yes.
queries? And why these are important? Why are these concepts important? These concepts are important, very important for performance testing. When you are doing performance testing, or when you are, suppose your application is running on some high speed CPU, right? Powerful CPU. Obviously, your request will be processed very fast. and you'll get very good response times. The response times will be minimal, right? Or, suppose if RAM is not sufficient on your server, right? Obviously, it will impact your application performance, right? Or you have, SSD on your server. Obviously, SSDs only will be there on the servers. And the higher the higher their capacity, the faster your server will respond, right? So this is at a very high level, guys. We'll discuss this in detail, like how why these factors are important, and what do we need to measure when you are doing performance testing, right? We will discuss in detail going forward. I'll take a pass here. Any queries, guys? So this is all about system configuration. Any other queries? And any other way to check apart from task manager? Any other way to check your system system configuration details? There is one more way, popular way. Go to your desktop, right click on this PC and properties. Select properties. Yeah, about PC settings, right? Sorry. Right. You can check over here, right? You can check the device name and you can check the processor details over here, isn't it? 13th generation Core i7 processor, 1.1.7 gigahertz. Read it as 1.7. Okay. 1.7 gigahertz. GHZ means gigahertz, isn't it? Let me try to copy. Can we copy from here? Perfect. Right. So this is my processor configuration. Okay. Okay. Let it be here. And then installed RAM is 16 GB and device ID and product ID. And yeah, there are a couple of other details. Now see here. These are the details. See, these are, you have an option to copy here. Simply you can copy and all the details will be copied. Right. Let me paste it here. Right. All the details are copied, isn't it? And then you have, software configuration. Now see here, you can see that the operating system on my machine is Windows 11 Pro. Version is 23H2 installed on, right? And other details like it is showing OS build and other details, right? Let me copy this as well. So these are software configuration details, right? I'm having the operating system is Windows 11 Pro, etc., etc. And these are hardware details. Hardware configure, right? So this is another way to check your system configuration, and you should be aware of this, guys. Those who want to buy a new laptop, particularly, mm, check it. This is important. The generation is also important. Okay. In i7 processor itself, you'll have, from 4th generation or 5th generation, you'll have, right? The higher the generation, the faster your system will be. You need to know these details if you are purchasing a laptop or, if you want to suggest a laptop configuration to anyone else. Got it? Yes. So, please, if anyone want to buy a laptop, please check with me once. What is the minimum configuration? You can go with an i5 laptop also, i5 also, but this is important. This should be 8th and above. The generation number should be 8th and above. If you are going for an i5 or an i3 generation, means, if you want a budget laptop, you want to buy in 30,000 or 35,000, you'll get an i3, right? You'll get an i3 or an i5. Okay. Below 50,000, you'll get i3 or i5, right? If you want an i7 processor, it will be above 50K. Clear, guys? And moreover, you'll get, Windows 10 Home by default, right? However, I know I had opted for 11 Pro because, I want to connect to remote desktop and all those. Few things are not possible with home operating system. That is why I had bought a Pro operating system. Bought a laptop with Pro operating system. Clear, guys? Any queries?
How to check for Apple MacBook, sir?
You see, Can you share your screen? I can help that. I used Mac long back, very long back. Did you
Okay.
join the laptop from your? Did you join the meeting from the laptop?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Can you please share your screen?
Okay. You can see
Okay.
that.
On the top left, you see that Apple symbol, right? Right.
Yes.
Click on that once.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sir.
Is recording in progress?
Yes.
Yes. So not working. Left click is not working. Do a right click on that. Otherwise, try right click on that.
No. I have clicked on it and it. Mm,
It is just getting highlighted.
no. About this Mac system settings, App Store.
We are not seeing that. You see that about this Mac, right? There you will see those details.
Okay.
But however, we are, yeah, now we can see that. Right.
Okay.
So it is a MacBook Air chip Apple M2, memory 8 GB. That means RAM is 8 GB, right? Operating system is Ventura 13.4. Click on more info.
Okay, sir.
Will show further details. It should show further details.
Okay.
Please wait.
You can see that, sir.
Yeah, we can see that. We got that window.
Okay.
Okay. All right then. Thanks, Sushma. I'm stopping your screen share. Right.
Thank you.
So yeah. And now, we are going to. I'm going to start JMeter right now. Can we use JMeter on a MacBook? If you go to Apache JMeter website, right? If you want to, this is from where you can download the JMeter software, right? This is the official website of JMeter. If you go to download releases, from there you can download the software, right? So now this is the Apache JMeter 5.6.3.zip. This is the latest version. Okay. Now, can we run this? So you need to download the JMeter by using this link, either this link or this link, right? Under binaries. Okay. So now, can we run that JMeter on a MacBook?
I think we need to have Java in our Mac.
Right. So we need to install Java. Of course, whatever the operating system is, you need to install Java, right? And now then you can run the JMeter on any laptop, any operating system. Sorry, any OS, not any laptop, but any OS, because JMeter is a Java application. And Java has, there is one wonderful feature of Java which made it so successful. What is that, guys?
Open source.
Not open source, not
Platform independent.
right. It is platform independent, right? Java is platform independent, isn't it?
Yes.
Java is write once, run anywhere. Write once, run anywhere. Means if you write any Java program, you can run anywhere. Anywhere means any operating system, any OS, right? So, and JMeter is a Java application, by the way. JMeter is a Java application. And for running this version 5.6.3 of JMeter, you need to have Java 8 plus. What does that mean? Java 8 plus means Java 8 or higher version. 8 or higher version. That is what it means, right? We'll discuss that later. Okay. All right. Let me go back to the slide. Yeah. And the next concept that I want to explain is IP address, right? What is meant by IP address?
Every system has individual IP address. Like
Okay. So every,
protocol.
can you please repeat it? Kirti, is it Kirti or who is that?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Every system will have an individual IP address.
Every
System will have an individual IP address.
every system will have an individual IP address. Okay. What is the purpose of that? So this is the definition given by her. Okay. Now, how about, only system, first of all? How about in a smartphone? If you take a smartphone, will it have an IP address or no?
Yes, yes, it will also have it.
Okay. So if you have a tablet or a, what we call that, iPad, do they have an IP address? Do they also have an IP address?
Yeah.
Right? They also have an IP address, isn't it? So every device, can I call it as every device connected to the internet,
Correct.
which can be connected to the internet? What is the purpose of that IP address? So every device connected to the internet will have an individual IP address, right? And what is the purpose of that? To uniquely identify the device, guys. That's it, right? To uniquely identify the device. Every system has every device which is connected to the internet will have a individual IP address. Even I am having a printer at my home, and that printer is also having a IP address. Printer is also having an IP address. I can give printout, on my, I can give a printout, from a remote location if I am connected to internet, because these printers are also nowadays connected to the internet, isn't it? I can give a printer from anywhere in this world, right? Of course, that printer should be having that Wi-Fi capability. It should be having some Wi-Fi capability. If it is having that, you can give a printout from anywhere in the world. Clear, guys? So every smart device can be, or every device connected to the internet, right? Say smart, instead of saying smart device, I'll say every device that can be connected to an internet will have an IP address. And now, can you tell me like what is the IP address of your machine? Can you please quickly check and tell me what is the, yes, for unique identity, correct, right? Now, can you tell me what is the IP address of your machine? Please do that, guys, everyone. I want everyone to check the IP address of your machine. And what is the command to check the IP address? For those who are from non-computers background, here is the command ipconfig. Ipconfig. What is this ipconfig? Command to check private IP of your machine. Now, what is private IP and what is public IP? Okay. So ipconfig is the command to check the private IP of your machine. We'll discuss what is the private IP, what is public IP. We'll discuss that. First of all, how to check the IP address of your machine. Open a command prompt, type CMD in the address bar, right, on the search, in the Windows search box, and open a command prompt by typing CMD here. Let me show you one more time, right? Type CMD over here and hit enter. And now type in that command ipconfig, right? But you got a lot of entries, right? You got a lot of entries. Now, which one is my IP address? Yes, guys. Please make it fast. We are on top of the hour. I need to close the session in another 5 minutes. Yes.
IPv4, sir.
IPv4, right? What is this IPv6? How about this one, IPv6? Okay. So, if someone asks you the IP address, your system IP address, you can tell this one. This is your private IP. Let me copy that and I will paste it over here. Okay. Today is 9th July. 9th July, this is the IP address of my machine. Why I'm noting down the date is because this IP address may change. This IP address may change, right? And now where did we check, guys? Observe here, we had checked under wireless LAN adapter Wi-Fi because I am connected to Wi-Fi. Let me show you the Wi-Fi name now. Okay. See, observe here, this is the Wi-Fi name that I have given. Are you seeing that Wi-Fi name?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see that, you can see the IP address. Sorry, you can see the Wi-Fi name. This is the name that I have given. And we can customize it, right? So I gave my Wi-Fi name as Pavan MGM IT Training 90 and my contact number, right? So you can change this Wi-Fi name, isn't it? And now as I am connected to Wi-Fi, it is showing, like we need to check the IP address under this section. Suppose if you are connected through a LAN cable, suppose you are going to your laptop and, of course, if you are going to your office and if you are connecting your laptop through a LAN cable, right? Of course, you can connect through Wi-Fi also, but still, like if you connect through a LAN cable, it will be faster, much faster, right? Now, if you are connected to the internet through a LAN cable, you need to check under here, Ethernet adapter. I'm sorry, not here. Here, you need to check the IP address from here. You need to check the IP address of your system from this section. You need to check from Ethernet adapter, Ethernet, right? And I'll come to your questions, Guna. Okay. And now, anyways, this is the private IP of my machine. Okay. Now, what is public IP? If it is private IP, then there should be something called public IP, isn't it? Right. So this is private IP. Let me note it down here. Private IP is of my machine currently is 192.168.1.5, isn't it? Now, what is, when you say private IP, there should be something called public IP also, right? Now, what is public IP and how to check the public IP? Okay. How to check the public IP is open a browser and type what is my IP address.com. What is my IP address.com? And now this is my public IP. You see here 171.61.207.26. This is the, I'll do one thing. Otherwise, I'll go to another website. What is my IP.com? Go to this website. What is my IP.com? Because there it shows you clearly that it is public IP. Okay. But however, this is the, did I copy it or no? Unsupported format. Okay. See, now see here, this is the public IP. Here it is clearly showing here that, public IP is 171.61.207.26. Ah, sorry guys. I'm not supposed to share those. Okay, I'll cut this down. Okay. Yeah. So this is the public IP. You see here, as you see here, this is the public IP address of my machine, current machine. Okay. Let me paste it over there. Clear guys. So 171.61.207.26 is the public IP of my machine now. Okay. Now what is private IP and what is public IP? And what is the difference between them?
Public means it is visible to all, sir. Everyone can see. Private means it is limited to myself.
Right. So private IP means IP address within your network. Within your network. So this is private IP. This IP address is applicable within your network. See, right now you are at home or some PG, right? Let's assume that you are at home or some PG or, or somewhere, right? And now, so there are a lot of devices connected to your Wi-Fi router, right? You have laptop, you have, you may be having a smartphone and you may be having an iPad, isn't it? Now, each device will have a different private IP, but all the devices will have a common public IP. If they are connected to the same Wi-Fi router, the public IP will be same for all the devices, but private IP differs. Private IP differs for each device, changes for each device. So private IP address is the IP address within your network. Public IP means IP address which is visible to the external world. IP address with which you are visible to the external world. Okay. IP address with which you are visible to the external world. I'll give some simple examples. Suppose if you are staying in a multi-story apartment, let us say you are staying in a multi-story apartment, right? Anyone who is staying in an apartment? Guys, some of you may be staying in an apartment, right?
Yes, yes.
Suppose if your neighbor, suppose you met someone in your building, outside the building, or like outside the building, just outside the building. And if they ask you,
Okay.
where do you stay, right? What do you tell, guys? Well, how do you answer them? Your neighbor, you saw your neighbor. Yes, you will tell your apartment number or flat number, isn't it? Yes
Yes.
or no, guys? Right? Suppose, if your neighbor asks you, like, what is your flat number? Where do you stay? Right? You'll tell your flat number, isn't it? But if I
Mm.
ask you, where do you stay? You will not say your apartment flat number, right? Yes or no, guys? Because I don't know where you are, which building you are staying in. If I ask you, like, where do you stay? Right? You'll tell your building name and your area. Yes or no? Yes or no,
Yes.
guys? So
Yes,
that
yes.
is, that is
Yes,
to the external world. Public IP is applicable to the external world. Whereas, within your building, for example, if you apply this to the building, right? Within your building, your flat number will be your address, isn't it? But to the external world, your the building name and the area will be your address, isn't it? So private IP and public IP are something like this. Private IP is something like your flat number. Public IP is something like your building name and your area name. Clear, guys? Right?
Yes.
So we'll stop it here. So, and the reason why I had noted down here is this private IP is not fixed one. It changes. It is dynamic. It is not static, but it is dynamic. Even public IP also will change, right? Public IP changes from from one internet connection to another internet connection. Suppose I switch to my mobile data. Okay. Suppose if I switch now from my Wi-Fi to mobile data, both private IP changes and public IP changes. You want me to show that? Shall we see that, guys? I'm turning on my mobile data and let me switch to my mobile data. Okay. Both your private IP changes and public IP changes. I had turned on my hotspot and let me switch to my mobile data now, just to show you this. Okay. So it's not yet identified. Yeah, I'm switching now to mobile data. Are you seeing that black color box at the bottom right
Yes,
side?
sir.
Are you seeing that one?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
yes, we can see.
Okay. Right now I am connected to my mobile data now. Right. Now let us check the IP address again. Let's check the private IP and public IP. What is the command to search the
IP
to
config.
check the
Okay.
IP config? And see, this command works only on Windows OS. On Linux, you have to use if config. Okay. On Linux
Okay.
OS, you have to use a command called if config. IP config
Okay.
doesn't work there. Now see here, the IP address has changed, right? It is
Yes.
showing 172.20.10.12, isn't it? This is on mobile data. I am on mobile data now.
Okay.
This is the private IP, right? This is private IP address. And let us check the public IP also. Now go to the same website, whatismyip.com, right? And just do a refresh. It is detecting now, right? And now it is showing something different. Yes or no? Is it showing something different, some different public IP, isn't it?
Sir, I have one doubt, sir.
Yes.
Sir, next time you are trying to connect with the Pavan MGM IT Training Wi-Fi now, sir. At that time, the private IP and public IP same like before, sir, or now also it changed, sir?
We'll see that. Mostly it will be same. Public IP will be the same. Private IP may change. May change. I'm saying may change.
Okay.
Not necessarily doesn't change unless compulsorily. It may be same. Okay. Suppose I'll tell that. I'll come to that. On what basis it will change, or on what basis. See, this number, particularly this number changes. Okay. And now that the last number may change. In the private IP, this last number may change, but this will be remaining the same. The first three set of numbers will be the same. Okay. The last number changes. May change. There is no rule that it has to, must and should, it should change. Nothing like that. Right? And now, so this is on my Wi-Fi router. Okay. And this is on mobile data. Right? And now observe here, it is showing some warning, right? Your location may be exposed or something. I saw somewhere, yeah, you see here your location may be exposed, isn't it? And but actually it is not showing the right location. Over here it is showing Mumbai and Maharashtra. But actually here you can see that, right? Now you can see here that, like this is the correct location. My IP location is Hyderabad TGIN, right? TG for Telangana, IN is for the country code. And what is ISP, guys, by the way? What is the full form of ISP? What is full form of ISP?
Internet Service Protocol.
Internet Service Provider, right? Right? ISP stands for Internet Service Provider. So I am using right now Airtel broadband. Okay. And these are correct details, right? And see, so if someone commits a cyber fraud or cyber crime and all those, this is how they trace us, right? This is how they trace the culprit, right? So first they will get the public IP and then private IP. See, first they will get the public IP. Public IP will help you to reach to your Wi-Fi router. And now who exactly, suppose you are staying in a PG or you are staying in a PG, let's say, you may be connected to the same Wi-Fi router, isn't it? Multiple devices, you and your roommates or your hostel mates or PG mates will be connecting. Everyone will be connecting to the same router, isn't it? Then they will take help of your private IP to trace you out, right? Or that will help you to identify each unique device and again, one person may be committing some cyber crime, but he may be committing from his laptop or he may be doing it from his mobile phone or from an iPad also. They will be able to track with the help of the private IP, right? Private IP, private IP is the IP address within your network, isn't it? And every device, every smart device connected to the internet will have a valid, will have a unique IP address, Clear, guys? And then I forgot something. I thought of, yeah. How to check the IP address of your mobile phone? Can you check, you need not tell us, but can you check the IP address of your mobile phone? Go to your settings, check your, select your internet connection. Please do that now, guys. Can you please check that? You just need to know how to check the IP address of your mobile device, of your mobile phone.
Yes, sir, I have checked it.
Okay. So my IP address is starting with 192.168. See, this is my private IP of my mobile. Okay. This is my private IP, mobile private IP of this is my laptop at the moment. This is the private IP of my laptop. And private IP of my mobile is 192.168.1.3. So this is something like this, 192.168.1.3. Okay. And now if you observe here, hold on, I want to show you something else. See, there is something called default gateway. You see there is something called default gateway. So this is related to your router. Okay. 192.168.1.1 will be your router. Okay. This will be related to your router. Means this number 1 will be your router, the last number. This number will not be given. Say, for example, you have a Wi-Fi router and you have two devices connected. One is smartphone, the other one is laptop. So your smartphone will be having number 2, maybe having number 2, and your laptop may be having number 3 here. Understood, guys? So once you turn on your devices, so some number, some IP address will be allocated. This last number will be allocated by your router, or the device will pick some number. Okay. So we'll just so all I wanted to say is 1.1 refers to your router or your yes, that is called your router IP. 192.168.1.1 is your router IP. Okay. So I'll stop it here for today and we'll continue tomorrow, guys. Any queries before we close the session, today's session? We had just completed 2 points under this computer fundamentals, right? And this one of 3, right? And now tomorrow we'll discuss IPv4, IPv6, and host name. What is meant by host name? What is the ping command? What is LAN, WAN, and the remaining concepts. The remaining concepts will be faster. They will not take this much time. Okay. So we'll stop it here and continue tomorrow. And today's session will be uploaded as a private video. Okay. Yesterday's session, by the way, did you watch yesterday's session, guys? Those like did you receive yesterday's session notification? So if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, then only you would have received a notification yesterday, right? So if you want to receive our public videos, subscribe and turn on all notifications. Okay, that is important, guys. Please, subscribing would not be alone enough. Turn on all notifications, then only you will get our public videos. However, today's session will be uploaded as a private video to your Gmail ID only, and it will be delayed, guys. Accidentally I had opened some, like I had shown you some Gmail IDs of the teammates, some inquiries. So I need to mask that. I'm not supposed to mask. I'm not supposed to reveal your that is confidential data, right? So I had to mask it and I'll send it by end of the day. Okay. Yeah. Any
Okay.
queries?
No, sir.
Hello.
Yeah.
Why these IP addresses keep on changing from network to network?
What is that?
IP address. Why this IP address is changing from network to network?
That is how it is defined, man. Okay. So that is how, see, worldwide. So all these are managed by World Wide Web Consortium. There is something called WWW, right? World Wide Web Consortium, right? WWW stands for World Wide Web. Right. So there is a body or there is a consortium that manages this. That is how they defined it. We really don't know like why they changed.
If we are not connected to the internet, we don't have the IP address for our machine.
Good question. Wonderful question. If you are not connected to the internet, will we have any IP address? Yes. By default, there will be an IP address called 127.0.0.1. So this is the default IP address of any machine. Default IP address of any device. Okay. This is the default IP address. 127.0.0.1. Okay. Any other queries? We'll discuss this. These are important. 127.0.0.1. And by default, there is the next concept is host name. How to check your host name, guys, by the way? So type, once you go to command prompt, type host name, simply type host name. If you type host name, this is my device name. This is the name that I had assigned to my device. Okay. So host name of my machine is Lenovo ThinkPad. That is the name that I have given. Okay. And you can change it, you can change that host name. But if you don't give any if you don't specify any name, so there is, by default, it will take the name as localhost. Localhost is the default name of your machine, of your device. This is the default name of your device. We'll discuss those, that host name concepts and all tomorrow. Okay. I'll stop it here for today, guys. I'm running out of time, so I'll stop it here and we'll continue tomorrow. Let me update the tracker sheet. So it's already 9:20. So it will take some time to upload today's session, guys. Okay. I may not be able to upload by afternoon. I'll be uploading by evening. All right. So with this, I'll close the session here, guys, for today. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow, 8:15. Okay. Okay. See, all these concepts are very important, and these are computer fundamentals, guys. And there is another reason why I cover this. So once you get a job, once you join into some organization, suppose you want to install some Java on your machine, you may not be having admin rights. You may not be having admin rights on your machine. Okay. Or you may not be having permissions to install software on your machine. And you will raise an IT request, right? When you raise an IT request, the first thing that they ask is, can you tell me your IP address? Or can you tell me your host name, your computer name, right? And you should know how to check that, right? Understood, guys? You should not, scramble over there, or you should not, get confused over there, or you should not feel tensed over there, right? So if they ask you IP address, you should know how to check the IP address, private IP. And if they ask you your system name, you need to immediately tell, like, what is your system name. And there are a couple of other details also. MAC address, there is something called MAC address, right? Which we'll discuss later. Not so important, but we'll discuss tomorrow. And if they ask IPv6 address, here you see it is showing the IPv6 address. And now when we have IPv4, why IPv6 came into picture, right? We'll discuss all those concepts tomorrow, right? That will be the concepts, for discussion tomorrow. So tomorrow all the remaining concepts will be completed till here. I will complete till here. And also you need to know Excel and Word basics. So you need to start learning those, if you are already aware of those, wonderful. Otherwise, you need to learn Excel and Word basics, because, we'll be using Excel and Word almost on a daily basis once you get into a job. All right. So we'll, like I'll help you, like I'll try to help you, like, how to learn those and how much you need to learn, right? You need not be an expert in that. If you are an expert, yes, that is always an added advantage. But you need not be an expert. If you are a beginner, I'll tell you, like, till what concept you need to learn, till what level you need to learn them. Correct? But however, you need to learn this Microsoft Word and Excel. So which we will discuss tomorrow. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, we will discuss it.